welcome to the channel. You might notice this is posted on the other channel, the one with the Shinra profile picture. Why? Well, the reason why is because I decided to make this channel the PokeTuber channel or Persona channel. In other words, on this channel, I'll be talking about Pokemon, Persona, and just video games in general. I was planning on doing this being a commentary channel, but I realized that even though I want to do that, I'm kind of more interested in like Pokemon and stuff. Anyway, enough yapping. What happened to every Pokemon protagonist?
What happened to every Pokemon protagonist? It seems like a silly question, but it's one that we get surprisingly little clarity on. Unlike select other RPGs like Fire Emblem or Xenoblade, where the timeline is very clearly moving along and characters' journeys are brought to definitive ends, very, very few of Pokemon's main characters get this same treatment. So good morning everybody, good morning, it's JPR, and today, using all the evidence that we have from various Pokemon media, let's try and figure out what happened to all of them. Fortunately, this video will be starting on a good note, as Red is definitely the most storied and well-done.
If I remember correctly, Red, after becoming champion, flies to, not Sinnoh. He flies, I think, to Kalos first, or Alola, or he's on vacation. I remember he's in Alola with Blue.
Documented of all of Pokemon's protagonists. That's just what happens when you're the first child, I guess. Believe me, I would know. I'm an only child. After the events of Red's debut games, we know that instead of staying behind at Indigo Plateau to protect his throne, Red instead opted to travel to foreign lands, capturing and battling more Pokemon at an even higher level. Eventually, he makes his way to Mount Silver, the most remote training area in the Kanto and Johto regions, where he awaits a challenger who can match him. Bro does more aura farming up here than the average episode of Solo Leveling. He may just be the world's most intimidating 14-year-old. But after the battle's conclusion, it's not made clear what happened to Red. He simply disappears. Did he teleport? Did he jump? Or was he maybe even a ghost the entire time?
Oh my gosh. I'm tired of these ads.
Oh no, he's in Alola. He's fine, guys. Here it's revealed that during his travels, he has mastered both Mega Evolution and Z moves, implying that he's also been to Kalos at some point during his travels. His Pokemon also possess the unique ability to level themselves down, apparently, like Jotaro and every new.
Wait, what? I didn't even catch this. Went from 81 to 70. Okay.
Part of JoJo. Much like his anime counterpart Ash Ketchum, Red is simply a wandering trainer whose journey likely continues to this very day. And while he currently serves as co-boss of the battle tree with Blue, this likely won't be the last stop on his journey. Leaf, on the other hand, is a much more vague character, kind of being constructed from the skeleton of her manga counterpart Green, who also ended up becoming her own character in the Let's Go games. And since Let's Go and Pokemon Masters are the only two games where Leaf or Green make NPC appearances, and they do appear to be slightly different characters, Super Smash Brothers! She went to Super Smash Brothers, where she is currently being tossed around like a ragdoll by Minecraft Steve. For the Johto protagonists, Ethan, Lyra, and Chris, all of them are also a bit more difficult to pin down. For starters, you basically have two female characters attempting to pull off the same role. However, other Pokemon media has attempted to differentiate these characters a bit more. In Pokemon Masters, Ethan is a really outdoorsy guy and has the most dorky voice I've ever heard in my entire life.
Let me know if you ever want help, okay?
He also
He does sound like a dork. Wait, it's been a long time since I played Pokemon Masters. Is the game still good? Like, the last time I genuinely played the game was like maybe 1 or 2 years ago.
Looks like a dweeb, not gonna lie. Here, there's no mention of Ethan ever canonically becoming champion, and the main focus of his arc appears to be his continued rivalry with Silver. In the Adventures manga, Ethan, or Gold as he is known there, primarily focuses on becoming a highly skilled Pokemon breeder. He also notably won every single gold Pokeathlon medal, so I could totally believe that after the events of his game, he probably just became a famous Pokeathlete. He's like Michael Phelps doing Subway ads or something. As for Chris, while she was phased out of the core games after Gen 2, other incarnations of her lived on. In the anime, she's known as Marina, who later becomes a famous contest star. Because what else are female characters in Pokemon?
Yeah, what else are female characters in the Pokemon anime gonna do? Become a champion? Of course not. Iris, get out of here. Go back into the basement. Of what else are Pokemon female trainers gonna do in the anime, right?
Not supposed to do with their life.
Exactly.
Have free will? In the manga, she kinda just becomes Lyra later on, which makes things even more confusing. And in Pokemon Masters, it's revealed that Chris has been attempting to meet Suicune again ever since her first encounter with it in Crystal version. So she sorta goes down the same path as Eugene, but unlike Eugene, she does eventually form a bond with Suicune because the devs were running out of Pokemon to give her. So congrats, Chris, you accomplished Eugene's goal in like a fraction of the time. Good for you. As for Lyra, since Ethan and Chris have kinda taken all other possible career paths, I kinda just like her NPC appearance in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, where she primarily helps her grandparents out with raising newborn Pokemon. Pokemon Masters also takes the same route, so I imagine she likely does become a professional breeder at some point. Maybe one day she'll take over for Professor Elm. Moving to Hoenn, Brendan and May kinda go together.
Yeah.
And I mean that literally. Not to sound like my buddy Hybrid Hero who's all into his weird Pokemon shipping stuff. Sorry, buddy. But in most canons, Brendan and May are implied to end up as a couple. While the original Gen 3 games didn't lean too hard into this, the Pokemon Adventures manga definitely did.
Yeah,
With their manga
obviously.
counterparts Ruby and Sapphire directly confessing their love for each other and becoming an official couple. Duh, isn't that sweet? And on Hoenn's second go-around in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the games decided to take a similar approach. No, they don't go as far as they do in the manga, but everything from the end credits to the end of the Delta episodes seems to imply a blossoming relationship between these two.
Yeah, I see it.
And in Pokemon Masters, they kinda just continuously flirt with each other, which further drives this point home. So hey, you know what? I don't even care who does the battling and who does the contests, or who does the cooking and who does the cleaning.
Wait, what? Who said anything about cooking and cleaning, man?
I'm happy for my two fictional characters.
Me
This is
too.
all the closure I need. Now, Dawn and Lucas might be the weirdest ones in this video so
Why?
far, because it's still not 100% confirmed that the main character that you play as in Legends Arceus are just Dawn and Lucas aged up 5 years.
Oh, yeah, this is my theory for this is that Legends Arceus takes place like maybe a few years or so after Diamond and Pearl, and if you choose to be the girl or guy character, you're Lucas or Dawn, and you just get sent back in time. That's my theory for Pokemon Legends Arceus, though. It's never stated.
We don't know, it could be their long-lost twin siblings. I mean, Ray and Akari do end up...
Oh, yeah, they do. I completely forgot about that. Yeah, so it's like... Wait, so that debunks my theory that they're just past... Okay.
meeting Dawn and Lucas in Pokemon Masters, and they go, hey, you look like us, ain't that kinda weird? And that's about the extent of it. Dang it, Pokemon Masters, I ask
Right.
you for one favor, and this is all you give me! But to be fair, if I met myself but 5 years older, yet simultaneously from hundreds of years in the past, I would have some bigger questions too. But I'm opting to
Me too.
operate by Occam's razor here, where the simplest explanation is most likely the correct one. They may never share the same Bulbapedia pages, but I do firmly believe that Ray is Lucas and Akari
Agreed.
is Dawn. Pokemon Masters is already a game constructed from enough multiverse madness to make Doctor Strange's head spin, so I don't think it's really worth going off of for this one. I mean, what makes more sense for Arceus to do? Get the heroes who stopped the Spear Pillar crisis in the current day to help out again in the ancient past? Or pluck 2 random people out of a crowd who happen to look like them? I mean, I guess he did also randomly choose Ingo to go to the past, so it's not
Yeah.
completely impossible. But speaking of Ingo, he will be helping to solve this mystery, as the Hisui exhibit in Legend ZA confirms that Ingo did eventually return to the present day. And honestly, I'd be incredibly shocked if Arceus didn't do the same for Dawn and Lucas. So, more than likely, they're now back in modern-day Sinnoh, but probably with a ton of rare extinct Pokemon forms that I'm sure is giving Professor Rowan an absolute aneurysm.
Exactly.
By the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, it would mean the world to me if you subscribe. It's the best way to make sure that you see my new videos.
You know what? After this video, I might subscribe, because I don't think I am. I might subscribe. I'll subscribe after this.
Every Friday because the YouTube algorithm is really bad about keeping people in the loop, so be sure to do it. Hilbert and Hilda are perhaps the easiest pair of protagonists we
What
can pin
happened?
down, with Black 2 and White 2 being direct
Alright. Oh! I didn't know Pokemon Go had the new Megas. Oh, because when they released Mega Hawlucha, I'ma be there.
2 pizzas and 2 sides for just $19.99?
Way to make me
Domino's
hungry.
Perfect Combos got you covered.
Sequels of Black and White, we know for a fact that they left Unova in search of N, who ended up just coming back almost
Exactly.
immediately.
Just came back.
What a little troll that guy is. This time, however, Pokemon Masters actually does provide a pretty satisfying conclusion for their arc. Thank you, Unova, for not including any time travel or multiversal crap in your storyline. You actually made their job pretty easy. At the conclusion of N's storyline, he and Hilbert finally reunite, reflecting on how their past struggles ultimately made both of them into better people. N and Hilbert finally reconcile, this time as friends rather than rivals. Honestly, still my favorite storyline from Pokemon Masters. Not just because I love Glazing Gen 5, but also because it feels like an actual necessary conclusion to the Unova storyline. Like, if you told me this was a cutscene from Black 3 and White 3, it would fit right in. Well, except for the fact that Hilbert can talk and there's actual voice acting. Both of those are still a little out there for Game Freak. As for Nate and Rosa, they are kind of the exact opposite. We don't really know anything about these guys outside of Pokemon Masters. And their manga counterparts are so radically different from their game counterparts that it would not feel right to use them to form any kind of a concrete theory. Like, there's Rosa's counterpart Whitley, who is an X-Team Plasma member, and...
Wait, what? Rosa was an X-Team Plasma member?
Nate's counterpart Blake is an International Police member, so yeah,
What's good, Blake?
It's a little out there. So I'll lean more into Pokemon Masters again here, where Rosa seems to be very into Pokestar Studios and training to become a movie star. There's a lot of dialogue throughout the game that hints to this. And Nate apparently is just a sweaty battle subway trainer because they kinda forgot to give him a personality.
Of course.
Serena and Callum from Kalos are next, and man, these are probably two of the most perplexing ones. Mostly because Legend ZA sort of acts like they didn't exist at all.
What?
And honestly, it's probably one of the most disappointing aspects of the game, at least for me personally, because I don't really care about flat textured balconies. Like, no, I didn't expect Callum or Serena to show up in ZA, but I at least expected a loose reference, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, apparently nobody can remember why that...
I feel like it would have been cool for Legends EA to be like, maybe at the climax, I haven't played the game, but maybe like when like the peak of the evil team happens, they go like, we might need to call the champion of Kalos. Which one, Callum or Serena? Maybe both might be necessary. I feel like that would have been a cool reference.
Massive freaking parade was held at the end of X and Y. Now, we do know that after the Ultimate Weapon crisis, there was apparently a mass exodus of people from the Kalos region, which is why Lumio City underwent such aggressive upgrades in an effort to keep its remaining citizens. So I guess it's entirely possible that Callum and Serena were a part of this exodus, and they simply moved on and continued training in other regions. They didn't stay to be champion, they didn't become the strongest Mega Evolution trainer, they simply left. Which is coincidentally the best activity you can do in France.
Right.
Otherwise, I would have fully expected them to be a randomly occurring ZA Royale super boss, which, dang, now that that thought has crossed my mind, I am even more disappointed by their absence. I don't know, my best guess is that maybe Serena followed her anime counterpart's journey to become a contest coordinator in the Hoenn region. I mean, Hoenn is the next most closely aligned region with Mega Evolution, so for her at least, it makes some degree of sense. Elio and Celine once again go back to the easier side of the spectrum, as they are the first trainers who actually stay behind to defend their throne at the Pokemon League.
Nice.
As Alola's first champions, I fully expect them to continue doing this until somebody beats them, which we likely won't learn about until an Alola Legends game comes out in 2087. Victor and Gloria likewise are very similar. Unlike with Callum and Serena, Legend ZA does confirm that Leon is no longer the champion of Galar.
Makes
so
sense.
Victor or Gloria are likely still the reigning champion in that region, continuing to compete in the annual tournaments. Man, why did ZA give me a more satisfying conclusion for Sword and Shield than it did for X and Y? This is bogus!
It is.
Florian and Juliana from Scarlet and Violet are... I don't know, probably...
What are they? What are they? Because it's like they're a top champion, so are they just living high school life? Are they like graduated? Like what?
Still in school? It hasn't been very long. It's also hard to gauge exactly where or what they would do next, because becoming the champion is not the end-all be-all in the Paldea region like it is in other regions. I mean, Nimona has been a champion for years, and she's still a student at the academy. So I can only assume the same exact logic applies for Juliana and
just still in
Florian.
school.
They're probably failing chemistry or pre-calc or something else that's stupid. And lastly, Paxton and Harmony. Yes, those are the Legend ZA main characters. You can tell because they have an X and a Y in their name.
That was funny, right, guys? That was funny, right, guys?
But also, Zinnia's name starts with a Z and ends with an A, and this game deliberately goes at
Oh my god, that I actually didn't even catch that. That's actually really smart.
its way to exclude her, so who cares, I
wow.
guess. None of this even matters. Anyway, I guess they just run the hotel now because, spoiler alert,
Wait, I haven't played the game. I don't want a spoiler. Wait, freak.
and go back to wherever they came from, and you actually can attempt to do this, and it triggers a really funny secret ending where you just wake up on a random bench and you're back in the city again.
What?
Silly Protagonist, Kalos doesn't exist. But yeah, kind of hard to say because we genuinely have no idea who these characters are and why they came to Lumiose in the first place, other than just vacation. So, your guess is as good as mine. But hey, if you enjoyed this video, then
That was actually a really good video. Let me subscribe real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna post more on this channel, so if you guys are ready for that, see you guys next time.